Times we thought, to have these AI automations, AI system, you would need a large budget. You would need to be some huge corporation that has a lot of money, but it's really about changing the mindset.
Today, we're talking with an AI expert who's built exactly that, and it's already transforming construction businesses. Zulfia Forsyth from a Motley Group. She's built AI agents for over 200 projects, and today she's going to show us a special project called Vicky, an AI voice agent that's transforming how construction companies handle their phone calls. For multi-medium-sized businesses, they want to start implementing AI, but it can be so overwhelming. What's your advice on getting started?
What AI has opened up for everybody is that
what if your construction company never missed another lead call? It could book appointments 24/7 and had a smart receptionist that costs less than a minimum wage. Today, we're talking with an AI expert who's built exactly that, and it's already transforming construction businesses. So welcome back to my channel. I'm Elizaveta Taylor, and today I have a special guest, Zulfia Forsyth, from a Motley Group. She's built AI agents for over 200 projects, and today she's going to show us a special project called Vicky, an AI voice agent that's transforming how construction companies handle their phone calls. All right, thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to chat.
Thank you so much for having me, Elizaveta. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so let's start simple. What is Vicky, and how did you build an AI voice agent specifically for construction companies?
Absolutely. Vicky is actually inspiration came from my executive assistant, Victoria, just because she's awesome and she helped me a lot with getting booked up and responding on my emails, just super efficient. And I thought, you know what? There are probably construction companies out there that need their own Vicky. So the Vicky voice agent came in, where a lot of construction service companies, they're probably getting a lot of phone calls. And as we started working with them, we absolutely saw it. We saw over 65% of phone calls, incoming calls being missed. And 65%, it's people trying to, let's say, leave a voicemail or the busy line, or sometimes calls don't get through. So only 35% get answered on average. And then if you think about this, 35%, well, how many of them really get converted? Because not all the incoming calls are actual qualified, let's say, customers. Some people just asking or maybe getting some information. And we noticed that, most of the times they would say, oh, we have it handled, we have a system. But then you would see all of these gaps in the system where then construction companies would be like, for example, HVAC companies right now is a prime season. And right now they're probably getting so many calls and they're missing them. So what happens? Their customers going to the next person on a Google review. Their customer going to and it's just a repeat cycle with HVAC, with the plumbing issues coming up now once the weather gets colder. And then you think about junk removals. And then we can talk about movers. Same thing. A lot of phone calls that they get from people trying to get their service and sometimes get nowhere.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you mean. I mean, my husband owns power washing business, so the competition is there. It is true that they're gonna call you, and if you don't pick up because you're power washing the house, that's it. They're calling somebody else. And a lot of construction guys that I work with, like you mentioned, HVAC, the plumbing, something that is especially the urgent issue, right? My furnace stopped working, I'm freezing in my house. That would be something that would need a fast response. So paint me a picture. It's 7 p.m. A homeowner has that plumbing emergency, right? They call a contractor. How does Vicky change that experience?
Absolutely. Vicky picks up the phone calls after hours, even during the weekends. Essentially, can even pick up the whole hours in multiple lines. So let's say you're a busy construction company and you want to focus on when you start your business because you want to help people, not to actually be stuck in this admin work, like do all these follow-ups and make sure you put together all the quotes on time and then send it out on time because people are waiting. So what Vicky could do at 7 o'clock, the call is coming through, it's picking up the call and it's finding out, is this a urgent matter that needs immediate attention? Who do we route to? Who do we pin? Or is this just a person collecting information? For example, they need a service tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And then instead of losing that customer, now Vicky can collect all the information, send a quick form. We can demo that as well to their phone number. and collect that all information. Then on the back end, actually schedule a task to a right technician to review that form. Because traditionally right now, what happens, a lot of systems like RingCentral or let's say Verizon one, many other providers, they might have a phone answering system or a voicemail. And then that voicemail usually is sent to the email. Now that everybody has to listen to that voice record and identify, well, is this an urgent issue? Is this really what's happening? Is this even the call for us? Maybe somebody's calling and let's say they really needed to call to not the plumbing company. Maybe they were just mistakenly calling me. That's not even their customer. But now everybody has to listen and figure out what to do with that voicemail. And that usually takes days. And by that time, the customer is gone. So, and when I'm saying it's like one call, but usually what happens in a busy office, they have multiple calls. And obviously, right, we're humans. We only have this many hours a day and we want to spend it with our family. We don't want to come in after 6 o'clock after hours and worry about, oh my gosh, like we have this customer that now urgently needs us. And now I have to listen to this recording, send it out to the proper technician. I have to get back to them and have to like start the entire workflow to make sure that they're getting proper service.
Mm-hmm. Can you give me like a specific, like an example of how Viki has helped like one of your clients?
Absolutely. So for example, when we looked at one of our clients and we saw the 35% calls being answered, 65% that have not been answered, we realized that these systems are not talking to each other. For example, those 65% of phone calls, we would basically receive in voicemails that people left. And then the people that will call back would say, well, I'll call you, but I called you, but nobody answered. Or I filled out the form that you have on your website, but nobody got back to me. So now immediately the clients are kind of the future clients, they're already getting frustrated a little bit. And the person's like, oh, let me go see the record. Let me check. Now what happened with the Viki? Viki transformed all of that. Viki now responding to all the calls, logging those calls into their CRM, meaning if the caller is calling the first time, it's able to identify it because it can see if this phone call is attached to the current customer or if it's a first-time caller. If it's a first-time caller, it asks all the information on the call. For example, the email, the address, the issue that they might have, and then it can route to right technician. Then what it could also do is it can log now that record into the system. Now there is a lead entered into the customer relation management system. Now it's captured. Now Viki can follow up. Let's say now based on the form collected information, the technician is right technician is mapped on the back end, meaning like the task is created with the right technician to review it. If the technician has not reviewed it and it's urgent, Viki could also send reminders to that technician as well.
Wow. So it's not only that she's gonna answer the calls and talk to people, but there's more behind the scenes that she's doing as well.
Exactly. So you can create the record in the CRM. If it's urgent, pin the right person, right technician, and also if it's urgent, let's say, because it transcribes the entire call and also able to identify if it's urgent within 24 hours, that the technician actually review the ticket, that somebody get back to them, and also pin the technician reminder, this ticket has not been logged, or for example, it needs to really get back to them. So that's another thing. And then also you can schedule appointment. On the call, when people are calling, I need someone urgently, can you route me to the right person? Like, for example, if there's an on-call technician, it can route to that person or it can schedule a meeting with them as well because it has access to the calendar. So there's a multiple ways of capturing that lead right there instead of losing them. Mm-hmm. And providing the quality service, because we all know, right? Here's the thing. What I also see is that conversion rate. The conversion rate for my customer went from 7 days to 3.5 days because of all phone tagging. The revenue went 30% up. That's another thing. And that's why I have this analytical tool because it shows how many phone calls if captured, how many follow-ups is done, what's the conversion now on incoming calls versus previous 6 months, what's the revenues like, because now we can connect, for example, if we're talking about House Call Pro, usually one of our client has all the financial information. So you can actually see the lead to customer journey. Well, as soon as the lead got in the system, how long did it take them for them to buy from us and how much did they buy for? Mm-hmm. Then you can measure the Viki's performance as well on that end. So what I see right now when I talk to a lot of customers of ours in construction space, whether it's HVAC, plumbing or junk, right, removal, what I see is that they have all these systems, but they don't really talk to each other. They don't have financial system talking to their CRM, for example, so they can see the history, they lead to customer history, and actually see what their conversions are like, or making sure that there's a proper follow-ups. And another thing is very interesting is like a lot of people spend a lot of money on trying to capture leads. For example, marketing efforts, doing the campaigns, Google ads, right? But then they have all these calls that are coming in already, the 65% that have not been captured, that could have been captured, could have been followed up on. Now the conversion will already go up. And now they would not need to spend big budgets on their Google ads if they just fix their business operations.
What I wonder and what I can see is like the main concern would be about that is how like the business owners kind of nervous about AI handling the calls themselves. How would you address that?
100% actually. What's very interesting is when I talk to them right now, most of the business owners don't even handle the calls. Usually office manager handles the calls, or some type of person that they have, maybe their assistant handles the calls. And then routes it to proper technician already there. But what I'm seeing is that these assistants, well, everybody has a life, right? They're usually there from 9 to 5, and evenings or weekends they're not available. Even if they have some type of outsourced calling system, answering machine system, they might not be entering all the leads properly into their CRM. And that means follow-ups, drop off. That means also like the tracking as well, like how many calls really have gotten, how many leads have been generated. Was there a consistent text message follow-up or consistent phone call follow-up? Even if they sent out some type of they sent a form, well, how many days it's been? Did we follow up on them, for example? And what was the objection that we've got as well? That's another part. So what I see is even if they have some type of call system, there's still gaps in the system integrations as well. And it's just inconsistent. We humans, forget things. We're not meant to work 80 hours a week, right? We're meant to actually build something great, have the systems that buy back our time and give us energy and time to spend time with our loved ones.
I know you brought Vicky with you today. Can you show us how this actually works?
Yes. So let's give Vicky a call, and I hope we can hear her right here.
Hi, thanks for calling HVAC iFlow. This is Vicky, your AI assistant. How can I help you today?
Hi, Vicky. My air conditioner broke. Can you help me?
Absolutely, I can help with that. Who am I speaking with today?
Sophia, Forsyth.
Thank you, Sophia. Can you tell me where you're located or your zip code?
Sure. I'm located in Boston, Massachusetts.
Thanks for letting me know you're in Boston. Can you describe what's happening with your air conditioner? For example, is it not cooling, making noises, or something else?
It's not cooling properly. Like it's on, but it's not cooling.
Got it. Your AC is running but not cooling. Is this something urgent or can it wait a day or two?
I think I can wait for one day.
Oh, I'm hot.
Clarifying, I can text you a quick form. It saves time and helps get the right technician out with the right part. Would you like me to send it over?
Yes, please.
Hold on a sec. I sent the service form to your phone. You should get it in a minute. Once you fill it out, a technician will contact you within 2 hours. If you have any other questions or issues, feel free to call back anytime.
Thank you, Vicky.
You're welcome, Sophia. Once you send the form, our team will reach out to schedule service. Thanks for calling HVAC iSlow. Have a great day.
So this is a quick demo. And as you can see right now, I got the form and everything, right? So what happens on a back end, now Vicky got me in the system already. She input my phone number, my name, and now based on this information that I will fill out, it will also be in the system, in our CRM system already.
The only problem now is to make sure that people get back to her, but you kind of help solve that problem as well because it's going to follow up with those technicians.
Exactly. And I'm actually building one more for a property security company right now, where even a step further. So another is Vicky will evolve, right? Vicky can take on more responsibilities. Another responsibility, let's say they went out, now they send the contract. And sometimes what happens is the business owners don't read the contract or get lost in their emails. And now Vicky can call, hey, I'm just going to quick call on behalf of this company. I just want to make sure that you got our service contract. Let me know. And just a quick follow-up, because what I've noticed is that even takes a long time. When I was starting talking with a property security company, the owner spends time on if they have met they met the client, they all agreed to move forward, and they're waiting on contract signing. But sometimes it takes a couple of days and the follow-up is missed. And this is where just a simple call. we just sent you a contract. Can you please take a look? If you've received it, let us know if you have any questions. And your questions, we can actually schedule a meeting with our business owner, for example, with our raw manager.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think I saw something about Wiki integrating with different systems like QuickBooks, Jobber, right? Systems that construction companies are already using.
Yes, absolutely. So Wiki, with the way I would look at Wiki is really it's just a system integrator, style system integrator, filling all those gaps, filling those pain points where right now you would see multiple people. Let's say you have an office manager, you have a business owner that needs to be doing follow-ups, needs to be entering the records, scheduling appointments, making sure that every lead is captured. And where Wiki comes in is it can integrate with QuickBooks, it can pull the financial information, it can trace down that customer, for example, and see, well, as that lead started, the caller, the first time caller, what was their history like? Well, what happened to them? Like how much revenue they brought in? And this is where it gets connected to QuickBooks, for example, or it gets connected to Household Pro or Jobber even, and making sure that all these workflows are holistic. So there's a follow-ups on text message and phone calling, and also all integratable with these systems.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it is an investment, I'm sure, to integrate the system and set it all up to the client needs. And as I can hear, you're saying that it can be customized as well. I guess a lot of business owners would have a question on the return on investment. Have you pinpointed like how long it takes to get that return?
100%. I would say the return, I would say almost immediately once the Wiki is on board, because if you look at it right now, if you trying to get someone part-time, for example, in the office answering the calls, it usually $30,000 a year. And then you have to train that person. You have to make sure that person also is consistent of entering the leads into the system, making sure they don't make mistakes or don't forget to do follow-ups. It's a lot of manual processes, or even listen to those transcribed or these recordings that come through the to the email. They have to listen to it, and then they have to figure out, well, who this ticket belongs to. Really, do I, have the technician, senior technician, or maybe junior technician handle this, or this is some type of a dispute question, or maybe complaint question from the current customers, right? All these case scenarios that would take somebody that would you pay $30,000 like part-time, and that will not even get you the conversion because they will not be able to cover all the calls. Like that's exactly what we're seeing right now, where Wiki can come at a fraction of that price, and now you've covered basically. Now you have your 100% calls answered, and then you also have the automation that goes through your systems, so it gets connected. And almost what I would say, you look at the Wiki as your virtual team member. Really, where we're heading with AI and automation is you should be looking at AI systems, I would say, that are becoming part of your team, that you would be training them. But when you train the employees, usually, people get sick, people try to get to vacations, right? It's all normal. And then you would probably, if that person leaves, you probably need to have somebody else come in their place, and you have to do the training. Or if your call volume now increases, now you have to upgrade that person to the full time, or maybe bring additional team member, where Wiki now helps you to scale without incurring the dramatic amount of expenses.
Yeah, that makes sense. In how long does it take from like the decision of setting up Wiki to her answering the phones?
3 to 4 weeks usually onboarding. That's how long it takes. And as we and 3 to 4 weeks, and I say that because some customers, for example, like if we're talking about let's say junk removal space, they might have just a slightly different script, or they might also have pricing that they might offer over the phone as well, depending on the weight that the customer says, depending on what they have on their website. So we also use the information that they provide us, like about their services, and just customize the Wiki to make sure that it becomes a true team member for them.
So you kind of touched on the point of starting out with AI, and that eventually you want to start replacing some of those repetitive tasks with AI. What's your advice on like getting started for, small to medium sized businesses? They want to start implementing AI, but it can be so overwhelming of all the options that are available nowadays, and just overwhelming on how to set it all up and use it.
100%. And I would say always is return investment start with something small. Just implement something small that gives you the highest ROI. Like for example, that's why I see the Wiki being such a simple solution, just covering all your calls. That's all it's doing, covering all the calls, setting up the appointments, making sure the follow-ups are there. So now you have more revenue coming in through the door, and then you can start chipping away all other tasks that you have. And then, as I mentioned, Wiki, how can Wiki get involved? Well, Wiki in the future can also take care of your inventory management, equipment management as well, or it gets connected to your email and now can actually, if you can enable the voice, can tell you, oh, today you have this many meetings coming up, for example, this many field sites to visit, and you have, have to talk to this technician to make sure, for example, that their site visit was successful, or it can get connected to your project management tools as well. So as it grows, it becomes a true member of your team that now you can offload additional manual repetitive tasks. And I would say, why is it so important? A lot of times we thought, to have these AI automations, AI system, you would need a large budget. You would need to be some huge corporation that has a lot of money that to start using that. And you probably right now better off with just $20 tools, let's say ChatGPT $20. But it's really about changing the mindset. What AI has opened up for everybody is that 2,400 hours not available just for rich. 2,400 hours is available now for a small business owner. And I'm very passionate about helping small business owners because I know they're doing this to support their families and their teams and people that work for them and their clients. I know they're passionate about helping make sure that, people don't freeze in the winter, or make sure that people are having proper air conditioning, and they just want to do what they know best, and they want to make sure they keep growing and help as many people as possible. So I think small businesses now can benefit from these systems that are beyond just $20. They can afford these systems now that will help them to scale and actually grow their companies. This is the time of AI where you don't need to be huge corporations to offboard these kind of luxury AI systems. It's just I would say, and you know what? Sometimes I like to kind of simplify what AI agents are, because sometimes AI agents, well, it's really a technology that connects to all your systems together, making sure that now provides conversation abilities with your data. That's all there is.
Yeah, and I agree with you. You hear AI and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not that big of a company yet. I cannot afford it, or I shouldn't be implementing these things. It's only for 10, $50 million companies, but that's not true. There's so many opportunities out there for affordable AI use. That would make a big difference for the businesses.
And what I also see, the competition, right? The competition as AI gets much more popular among service-based construction companies. Now it's almost like a lifeline. If you don't have that, your competitors is having that. And now your business now, all of a sudden, they taking the huge, big market, because now they have a system that takes and captures all these calls and making sure that they capture all the leads and convert them to the customer as fast as possible.
This has been very fun. I really like to see Vicky in action. It was kind of a little bit crazy to hear her sounding just like a regular person, communicating like a regular person. If somebody watching this wants to hire Vicky, how do they reach out to you?
Absolutely. You can find me at Zofia Forsyth on LinkedIn, also on Instagram as well. And if you're coming to me, I have an AI library that I give away.
Yeah, but that would be helpful. I will put all the details on where they can find you in the description. But otherwise, thank you so much for sharing this insight. That was very fun.